Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're looking at a big one, Google's Gemini versus OpenAI's GPT.
Yeah, a real clash of the titans. And our source material is pretty unique for this.
It really is. It's from someone who is deep in the OpenAI ecosystem, actually paying $200 a month for ChatGPT Pro.
Wow, okay. That's serious commitment.
It was, but they canceled it recently.
So the big question is why? That's what we're digging into, right? Their comparison, their reasons, and what it means for you.
Exactly. Let's jump straight in. The main reason they dropped that pricey subscription.
Let me guess. Gemini.
You got it. They found Gemini 2.5 Pro.
Okay, and this is where it gets interesting. They called Google the undisputed king now, which is a bold statement.
It is, but they immediately put a little asterisk on it. They admitted Gemini 2.5 Pro isn't necessarily like miles ahead of OpenAI's O3 Mini and pure smart.
So it wasn't just about raw intelligence.
No, the absolute game changer for them was the cost, or, well, the lack of cost.
The free tier.
Precisely. They get 50 messages a day with this really powerful Gemini 2.5 Pro model for free.
Compared to shelling out $200 a month for similar access on the OpenAI side, that's a massive difference in value.
It completely changes the calculation, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It really shows the power of a strong free offering.
Yeah.
So, okay, how did they actually compare them feature by feature? They started with intelligence and context window, right?
Yeah, and they felt Gemini 2.5 Pro was, a bit better at following tricky instructions, making connections, basically saving them time.
But the context window was the standout.
Huge difference cited by the source. Gemini's is over 1 million tokens. Think of that like the AI's short-term memory.
Compared to ChatGPT's 128,000, even for paid users.
Yeah.
That's significant if you're working with long text or complex chats.
Definitely. So Gemini took that round in their view.
Okay, next up, cost and usage limits. This seems like an easy one based on what we just said.
Yeah, no big surprise here. Google won this category pretty handily for this user.
50 daily messages with the top-tier Pro model for free, plus unlimited access to the faster Flash models. That's generous.
Much more so than OpenAI's free offering, and arguably better value even compared to some of OpenAI's paid limits on their best models.
Right, but it wasn't all Google user experience.
Here, OpenAI got the points. The source just preferred the ChatGPT interface overall.
What specifically did they like?
Things like having a search bar to find old conversations, better ways to set up custom instructions so that AI remembers who you are and what you want, and this project's feature.
Okay, organizational tools. Gemini didn't have those equivalents.
Not in the same way, according to the source. So OpenAI won that round.
What about the Canvas mode? For coding or interactive editing?
That one was pretty much a draw. Both were useful. Both could be a little buggy sometimes, apparently.
Fair enough. Then voice mode. That's becoming a bigger deal.
OpenAI edged it out here. The source felt its voice just sounded, well, more realistic, higher quality.
And integration matters too, right?
Yeah, OpenAI's voice is right there in the main chat. Google's required going to a separate AI studio page, which felt less smooth.
Gotcha. Image generation, always a fun one to compare.
They did a specific test for this. Asked both for a cyborg arm reaching for a human inspired by the creation of Adam. Kind of a cool, specific prompt.
Okay, and the result?
For that technical, creative style, they felt OpenAI's DALL-E output was clearly better, so OpenAI took the image round.
Interesting. Finally, they looked at the sort of extra bells and whistles.
Yeah, extra features. They listed things like OpenAI's GPT store, the projects feature again, tasks, temporary chats.
And Google's side?
Desktop microphone input was mentioned for Google. But overall, the source felt OpenAI just had more valuable extras packed in. OpenAI won this last round.
So after all that, category by category, what was the final tally in their subjective scoring?
It was super close. By their count, Google Gemini won, but just barely, 11 points to 10.
Wow. So even though OpenAI won more individual categories like UX, voice, images, and extras.
The weight given to the free cost, the generous usage of a powerful model, and that massive context window was enough for Gemini to squeak out a win for this specific user.
Fascinating. And they did add a disclaimer, didn't they, about things changing?
Oh, absolutely. They were very clear. The AI world moves fast. New OpenAI models like an O4 Mini or an updated O3 could easily swing the balance back.
It's a constant race. So what does this specific deep dive tell you, the listener?
I think it really highlights that choosing the best AI isn't just about picking the one with the highest score on some benchmark test.
Right. It's way more personal. It depends heavily on, well, your budget, how much you plan to use it, whether you need a slick interface or specific features like top-tier image generation.
And it shows how disruptive a really strong free offering can be. Gemini 2.5 Pro being free clearly pulled a high-paying customer away from OpenAI.
It forces everyone to reconsider their strategies. That value proposition is key.
So the final thought to leave you with is this. In this incredibly fast-moving AI landscape, how do you weigh the advantage of a powerful, essentially free tool against potentially better features or user experience behind a paywall?
And maybe more importantly, how quickly could that entire equation change with the very next model release from either side? Something to definitely keep an eye on.